There.
Let me guess. This is a game that's gonna challenge me intellectually, so you can judge me.
Yep.
Of course it is.
Okay, you got it?
Why is everything for you just a fucking dick measuring contest?
Because I love huge dicks. Don't tell anybody.
Oh my god, we have so much in common.
Oh shit. Oh, I knew you loved huge dicks. Oh, I gotcha. You said earlier you didn't, but I know it.
Why do you know it?
Because every time I whip out my 10, girls look at it and they're like, I've always wanted something that fucking huge, destroying my fucking vagina. That's what they say every single time.
Wow. How many times does this happen?
I don't know. I lost track after like 25, 30.
Wow, you're just like...
slaying vaginas left and right. Yep. Can you please bring up the puzzle on the screen?
He's still uncertain about her hair color.
I'm
Is
not.
it naturally brown? It is a debate, you know, like there's quite a controversy if my hair color of regular brown hair as a Greek girl is actually indeed
What's
brown.
it like being Greek? Do you feel like do you feel anger about like the Romans or anything, or do you have an antipathy towards them? Okay, pick the do you want to play what do you want what do you do on your stream? Is it time for you to leave? I don't want to like keep you up if it's like too late. Or what about Turkish people? What about turkey for Thanksgiving? Do you like turkey, or do you not celebrate Thanksgiving? Do you know the difference between the Greek gods and the Roman gods? Why are you leaving me hanging here? This is really awkward. Okay, fine. I'm just kidding, actually. I'm totally comfortable with silence, so... What do you want to know about? I'll give you one thing, okay? Ask me one thing and I'll be real as fuck, alright?
Okay.
Okay.
When you brought up that whole men don't have relationships thing, what were you doing? What were you doing with that?
Oh, I was legitimately just asking because I was curious if you had if you'd ever heard of like MGTOW or Red Pill or a pickup artist community or whatever. Because getting the opinions of people that kind of like just a little bit read it is just kind of interesting. There wasn't like a deeper meme than that. I was legitimately just fishing for a conversation topic.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not okay. Everyone in the chat, I'm not going to ask him questions solicit. Din loves you. I don't know what that means. Thanks, Dubsis, for the $2, man.
Wait, I am, or somebody said that to you in chat?
No, you are. I'm telling you.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously I'm interesting. That's why people follow me, I imagine, right? In real life? Okay, I'll be real with you a second time, okay? Are you ready? You're getting like 3 times as much.
I love that these moments are prefaced by that disclaimer.
Well, because you have to understand.
You can't do it.
No, I can't, okay? I have a very big ego, okay? I'm actually incredibly narcissistic. Some people say that like just memeing, but I'm actually like, I'm pretty serious about that. So when you say that like, oh, well, you're interesting, well, I mean, obviously I consider myself to be very interesting. Yeah, of course. But I guess you could say it as like a compliment, so I appreciate. Okay, here's the third real thing, okay? I do have a hard time getting compliments sometimes, okay? So thank you for saying I'm interesting.
You're welcome.
All right.
But why do you have to acknowledge that you indeed know that? I feel like that's a sign of insecurity, less than narcissism. You're just trying to reassert how confident you are.
I'm not, okay, when
it's
we're
like
being
a guy walking up to somebody and be like, I have a huge... And you're like, all right, dude, just chill. And he actually doesn't.
So, no, I kind of understand what you're saying, but no, I'm actually like, I'm very secure, like in a really boring way. So there's not like anything fun there. Why don't you just accept it? Wait, what was the original question? Why don't I just accept it as a compliment?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's just really weird when I have a really hard time accepting compliments. So I usually deflect with some type of joke. That's just like a thing. I don't know why. I try to be, because I have to balance out like my ego shit with like a good dose of like humility. Because if I don't, then I think my personality would be very unattractive, right? People, confidence is a really good trait, but being like really full of yourself or really egotistic in a non-humorous manner is perceived as really negative. So I think balancing it out with humor is good, but then there's a negative thing where I have a troublesome time accepting compliments, so I get too humorous there, which is really rude. You shouldn't do that, right? If somebody compliments you, you should say thank you and accept it, but yeah, that's just like a minor, or a fuck up on my part, I guess.
How many siblings do you have?
5 or 6. My mom and dad were both divorced a couple times, so they had siblings before my marriage, and there's like one where I'm not even sure if she's my dad's stepdaughter or not. I don't really know. And then I have my younger sister who was born to the same parents that I was. But
holy shit.
Yeah. But
where do you land in like the pecking order?
To second youngest. But my family moved away when I was like 14, 15. I'm not like really close with any of my family at all. I wasn't lying when I said that either. I don't have like a close relationship with my family. I just kind of do my own thing.
Holy shit.
What?
No, that's really interesting.
That they had a lot of kids?
Yeah, it's just a lot of there's not a very stable like family life, it sounds like. It's like a lot of things.
Well, I have my own life now. I don't have to worry about that shit, right?
You don't have to tell me that. You just say, yeah, it was weird, and now I'm okay now, but... Am I making you uncomfortable?
Nothing makes me uncomfortable, okay?
That's not even true.
No, it is. It actually is true, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I do so well on the internet. It's really impossible to like make me uncomfortable because I have really high self-esteem. When I say that, it sounds like I mean, but it's not. I'm really comfortable with myself, so I don't really get uncomfortable about anything. That sounds really memey, but when I'm lying, it's because I sound like the same when I'm not lying, but I'm not actually lying when I say that. But I don't know how to convince you that I'm not lying when I say that. I'm sorry.
No, I believe that you believe it.
Well, no, I'm really not. There's like nothing you can say that makes me uncomfortable, I don't think. Or if there is, I've never heard it before.
Thank you, Blubstiny, for the $2. Churlal for the sub. Miss Holiday 1 for the sub. Tassel S2 for the sub. Sorry, guys, I've been like not doing my normal thing, but I really appreciate the support. Thanks, guys.
Wow, thanks, guys.
So you like Rick and Morty, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I told a little lie. This is the only thing that's ever made me uncomfortable before. Here you go. Holy shit.
Did you just DM me or something?
Yeah. This is really painful to watch. You might not want to watch this on stream. Your viewers don't deserve this.
So you like Rick and Morty,
It's a Rick and Morty clip for the record.
I got into it because of my son, but now I love it too.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Ugh. What?
No, just people keep like spamming shit for me to ask you. I'm not going to ask you. I just want to have a normal conversation with you instead of like this like user or viewer just, you know.
Okay, what do you want to have a normal conversation about? I love conversation.
I don't know. It's difficult to have a conversation with somebody who says there's nothing that makes them uncomfortable. Like, does anything make you sad?
Not really, no.
So if somebody close to you dies, that doesn't make you sad?
I mean, if my son died, that would make me really sad. He's probably like the only one where I would say definitely, yeah.
How old is he?
6 years old.
I would comment on the age. Like, that's a great age, but it's an age.
Yeah,
sounds like a little kid.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about kids.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like every other kid. He's healthy, has arms and legs, and goes to school and stuff, yeah.
What's his name?
Nathaniel James. First and middle name. What's your middle name?
I'm not going to give that on stream.
Wow, okay. Wait, can you type it to me on Discord?
Yeah.
I won't read it. Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Now I have blackmail material. Oof.
Shit. No. It's a doozy, too. It's really going to narrow down the population. Normally, I can crack a person much easier than this.
Well, there's not much to crack. Like, I'm pretty straightforward. Like, I'm very blunt on everything. A lot of people, not to say that you do this or other people, but like people like to act like maybe mysterious or like there's some like really deep shit or something. But there's not really. I'm a pretty straightforward person, which is kind of boring, but...
Yeah, I guess you are pretty boring then.
Yeah. Well, but I mean boring in an awesome way. Like I can't. There's not like if you bring up like the like wizards, that I'm gonna start crying because I actually wanted to be like a magician growing up and like my childhood dreams were all for naught. And then, you know, as a way to channel those frustrations, I started to get into other forms of entertainment and then took up streaming as a way to fill that hole. Like,
you want to be a magician?
Well, no, I just made that all up. But I'm saying that like there's not like a story like that.
Wait a minute.
What?
That was you just making up a story for fun?
Yeah. Well, but I'm telling you, I'm just saying that like there's not like I don't have like a story like that where that I can, that's like the key to unlocking everything. I'm a pretty straightforward, blunt person. Yeah. So there's not.
Is that why you talk to so many people?
I talk to people because I like people are interesting. Do you not think so?
What, do you feel like you're a boring person, so you have to supplement your life with interesting people?
I think I'm a pretty interesting person. I have a really cool job. I was one of the first people in the world to have this job. I've traveled to a lot of places. I think I'm a pretty unique individual. And
well,
I like.
That's not like things about you as a person. Those are things that external things you've attached to you. Those are accomplishments or you know.
Well, I like music. Does that count? Is that like a thing about me? I like music a lot. So if
you self-identify as a boring person, and now you're trying to tell me that you're actually an interesting person. I
self-identify as an important person? Wait, what?
No. What? I didn't say that. I said a boring person.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. So I don't think I'm necessarily boring. I think I'm fairly interesting. When I said boring, what I meant was like sometimes like if you watch a lot of dramas or if you talk to people in real life, there always seems like there's some like really dark, edgy underlying story that it can explain a great deal of their persona or something. For me, I don't really have that at all. I'm pretty open about everything. And everything in my life is pretty straightforward. I'm a very blunt person. Nothing
weird happened in your childhood. Everyone has some...
Well, I'm not saying that weird stuff didn't happen. It's just that I've spoken about most of it. And there's not like... I don't repress anything or have like some deep...
You realize you're talking to me, right? You're not talking to your...
Yeah. So what?
You're like, oh yeah, no, I've talked about this. Like, I don't know anything about you.
Oh no. Oh yeah. I just mean in general. It's not like, so like people know about it like in my audience and whatnot. Okay. Yeah, maybe you personally might not. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's, yeah.
I can understand I can understand that. There's a lot of times when I'm talking to people and I get confused with...
Yeah, I know. Obviously, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to know everything. I'm just saying that I have like spoken about most of my stuff pretty openly in the past. There's not like a deep thing. Yeah, sorry. Do you think you're an interesting person?
So I think I'm a weird person. I don't know if I think interesting is how people react to the weirdness.
Why do you think you're weird?
Because I just don't feel like I'm a normal person.
What's a weird thing about you? When you say you're not normal, what's like one way that you feel like you really don't fit in?
I just talked about this earlier in the stream. When I was online dating, I kept a spreadsheet of all the guys I ever dated, track of my progress as a person in the dating world.
When you say
I like categorize all my fucking dating like exploits and I like kept them in chronological order so I can just keep track of like my progress, make sure I'm not doing any cyclical patterns of just dating the same type of idiot.
What type of wait, do you still have this?
Yeah, actually no, I don't think I have it anymore.
Why would you delete that?
I didn't mean to actually, and I'm just remembering now. I kept work and I think they wiped the whole hard drive, so I'm pretty sure I lost it.
What kind of data did you keep on people? I'm curious.
All right, so there's a column for a username. There's a column for actual name. There's a column for a quick like tidbit on who they are, like something identifying, a unique identifying feature, so I can just quickly jog my memory. Yeah. Like, covered in tattoos, or
guy in the army, guy that loves cars,
whatever,
something like that. Yeah, sure.
And then I had like a more in-depth description as to like who they were, their personality, what the relationship entailed, and then I have a column for why it ended. And I would keep this in chronological order so I can keep track of, like, if there's any sort of trends to, just try to create a more efficient dating experience.
Did you try to model like behavior or like, were you trying to find like optimal behavior for you? Like after like 5 or 6 or 7 dates, were you like, okay, well, I should look for this or I should change this?
Yes. I would like try to be like, okay, I like this trait, so look for this, but I don't like this trait, so make sure you avoid that.
Well, we got an
Or
example. Can you give us 2 like qualitative examples of that? Like, what was a trait that you looked for, and then what was a trait that you didn't like?
Well, here's a trait that I liked. It's not a trait. It's just kind of like a variable, personality traits. Sometimes, not all the times, but it correlates pretty highly with it. I would typically date a lot of programmers, guys who are involved with computer science stuff. And I noticed that was a really good type for me to date because of whatever personality traits that led to, which a lot of times leads to like more analytical, rational, less
emotional.
Less emotional. I don't like emotional guys. I also just really like the computery things. It's just fun for me to like peek over and be like, "What you doing?" See all the cool shit they're doing. I really admire that. Just a lot. I don't know. It kind of encompasses a lot of traits that I like.
Sure.
And so I was kind of like, okay, this guy's a programmer. That I like all the shit that happened with that. And so, yeah.
Okay. What's an example of a trait you didn't like that you tried to avoid?
Well, other than what I just described, the opposite of that, which is emotional, I guess I'll think of like, I went on a date with this artist, and I normally would never, but the date went pretty well. And so like I asked him for a follow-up date.
Real quick, when you say artist, what do you mean by that? Like an actual painter, a musician?
Like a sculptor dude.
Okay.
Like he was an artist, and I remember like took a walk, and after we had drinks or something, and he was pointing out some like local art thing and got all into it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm always interested in art. And I remember we went back to his apartment and we're looking at like his slides of all these like things, like sculptures he's made and shit like that. And then like I left his apartment, went home. I was like, oh, have a good night, whatever. And then I followed up with him. I'm like, oh, we should hang out again sometime. And then he gave me he basically broke up with me. He's like, listen, we have to talk.
After this, after one date?
After one date, about how like he knows better than to be. He's like, I know that I like you, but I think that I know this is going to end badly. And he just gives. And I was like, all right, well, this is like, I know it's quite the generalization, but it seems like maybe the artist type. I know it's a sample size of 1, but that was whatever the fuck happened there doesn't seem like a really great thing. I don't want them to repeat that shit.
Damn. Did he say why?
Oh, God. Honestly, I could probably log into OkCupid and find the message again. I don't even know my password, though.
But you could do the reset on your email. Oh, my God. You don't have to if it doesn't make... Like, reset the password, then go into your email and get it, log in and find out what he said.
Oh, shit.
You don't have to if it, like, makes you uncomfortable, though. It's all good.
No, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm like gonna go through all the shit.
Yeah, that's
because I've all my passwords are just a random string of shit that I use a password manager for, so I have to like type it in manually because I don't have it.
Do you use LastPass or KeePass?
I use 1Password.
Wait, that's the name of the program, or that's your password?
That's the name of the program, asshole.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard of it. I've only heard of KeePass and LastPass.
So conveniently until 1Password.
Well, I don't know. I thought you meant like you just had one password. That's very complicated. Jesus fuck.
Anyways, so whatever that was about.
I'm
trying to think of any other traits.
How long is your longest relationship lasted?
6 years.
Damn.
Yeah. I know. It was I should have ended it sooner if I was really smart about it, but I'm glad. I don't really regret anything in my life because every experience I've gone through has allowed me to really fucking learn a lesson. Like I really learned a lesson from that one.
Interesting.
Lessons from that one, yeah. So I dated for 6 years. That's actually why I'm in Seattle. Moved here he got accepted to law school here, and so I moved out here with him. And I was with him throughout his law school.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Another thing I don't like, I remember one thing I didn't like about guys, other than the artist thing, which is kind of vague, was just like, this is what a lot of guys think is a quote unquote nice guy. They think it's nice, but it's not being nice. I love nice people. I don't want to associate myself with mean people. It's just not a thing that I'm interested in. It's the spineless people that I fucking hate.
Okay.
What?
You're like jacking a lot of my memes, and I don't think you're trolling, but...
What? I'm not jacking...
Okay.
Wait, the guy that... What? What
the
kind of
thing
meme
you
is
said
that?
earlier is like a direct quote of mine that I say like a ton, that I don't have any regrets in life because my rationale is that I like the person that I am right now, so I don't have any regrets because I don't know if I'd be the same person if I hadn't gone through everything I'd gone through. That's like a verbatim Destiny quote right there. I don't know, it makes me wonder. No, I'm just fucking with you. I talk about the spineless thing a lot too, though. There's a story that I had where I went out with this chick that I met on Tinder, and we were at a restaurant eating, and we were talking about music that we liked. And I don't remember how, because she went to college and she played music in college. That wasn't her major, but we were talking about, it was like the classic, like Hans Zimmer versus John Williams. Do you know either of these names? Mm-hmm. So John Williams makes the really memorable melodies like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and then Hans Zimmer does more like background ambient mood music kind of for the most part. And she started talking about how she hates Hans Zimmer and he's super overrated, and she thinks John Williams is like a million times better, which is like the standard like kind of like academic snobbery opinion. And I don't know if she thought I wanted to hear that or not, but she started saying that. And one of the big points for me in a conversation with somebody, like I can't talk to people that roll over on things. Like it's really fucking boring. And when we were talking...
Wait, what do you mean by that? Roll over on things?
Well, so like you'll understand. So like when we were talking after she went on that spiel, I was like, oh, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I know people can complain about Hans like that, but I think the music that he makes is like it's different than that, you know, and I kind of like it for what it is. And after I said that, she 180'd her opinion. So she was like, oh, I didn't mean I didn't like him. I have an iPod full of his music. That's what I mean by like rolled over. And it was like she was like so scared of having an opinion that was different than mine. And I was like, oh, that's like a huge red flag. Whew.
Yes, it's honestly like there's guys in my chat that will try to demean me, like, oh, you're a stupid whore, oh, blah blah blah. Yeah, I almost prefer those people to people that do that kiss my ass.
And that's like a really
yes men. It's almost like I don't even know why it's condescending. I can't explain why that feels condescending. It feels like you think I'm that fucking stupid to really believe that that's actually a thing that, like, I'm not fooled by that. Like, they think I am fooled by that. Like, I'm not fooled by that. I know what you're doing. You're trying to kiss my ass. You're trying to, they think I'm so dim-witted that I would be like, oh my gosh, you agree with me? We do have a lot in common.
I don't think it's a dim-witted thing. I think it's literally more like a spineless self-esteem thing. Like you're so worried that if this person that I like, if I have a different opinion, they might not like me as much. Like it's a confidence thing, I think. That's what it comes off to, is me. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they're scared of having an opinion that's different than mine, I just assume it's because they lack confidence. So they're like really scared that they'll say something and then I won't like them anymore because they like have a different opinion. I feel like that's what it feels like to me, at least.
No, it's because they're just really, really nice. Just so nice.
I don't think
it's not as...
I don't know. I think for me, I
I'm
think.
being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. Kill yourself, yeah. Okay.
This is where this is where you got to fight that autism. And as an autistic person, I can say that.
Fuck off. You're not autistic. Well, you might be, but...
You never met me in person. You don't know how I am. Maybe I do weird shit. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but like just... Okay, listen. I was a very edgy person on the internet, and I'm trying to be less edgy, okay? There might be autistic people watching that get irritated when somebody that's not actually autistic says they're autistic because they have to go through like real struggles or some shit, okay? So I'm trying to be sensitive, all right? Can you just let me be a good person? I'm trying to be an SJW, okay? That's my new calling in life.
Are you like actually an SJW?
It depends on who you ask. Compared to some people on the internet, yeah, I am. Jesus fuck.
Because I
mean, if you don't like SJWs, I'm not an SJW. No.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I don't know much about you, but from the little I've seen, I don't think you are.
Okay.
See the arm thing. No.
Wait, what's the arm thing? What do they mean by that?
I think he's referring to earlier today when I was describing my inability to read people's like body language.
Oh no! If it's one of your fans, it might be. The arm thing is like a big Twitch meme on my chat. Where do you know who Ice Poseidon is?
Yeah.
He does he throws his arm up randomly behind his head. Usually when people say do the arm thing, they're talking about that. If you see like CX and chat or something, yeah, it's Ice Poseidon.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I was saying earlier today I was saying the thing about. No, yeah.
Why did you break
Every
up with your
meme came
6-year-old?
from Destiny.
Yes.
I'm getting annoyed by this.
Well, why did you break up with your 6-year-old relationship boyfriend?
Because you asked me how long was your longest relationship?
No, I said why did you break up with it? Not why'd you bring it up?
Oh, why did I break up with him? Oh boy. In short,
Because he's short?
no!
Okay, I'm just fucking with you. Sorry, go ahead.
In short, honestly, I have to like think now. It was just 6 years of just cumulative shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right.
Oh, so it was like one
a
of those things where
defining
like,
moment.
yeah, so he didn't like hit you or abuse you, or there was like some huge like disagreement or somebody cheated. It was just like after a while you were just like, this relationship should have ended a while ago or something.
Well, like some shit happened near the end, which kind of escalated it a bit.
Oh shit. Have you talked about this on stream before?
I've talked about it one time on stream.
Okay, I won't push you then, never mind.
I've talked about it one time on stream. I mean, your viewers are so stupid.
They're actually some of the most intelligent viewers on Twitch. Please.
I know I was saying stupid in an affectionate way.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'd be like, they're so fucking stupid. No, I'm like, they're just stupid.
Okay. You see how she rolled over on her opinion there, guys?
Yeah, you know me, I'm a pushover. I would love to agree with you. Please, can we agree on things? That's all I want. We are high IQ memers. It's all a meme. She got gangbanged and he left. Well, that's true.
Was it
Who
fun?
hasn't?
Was it
Okay,
an
so,
enjoyable experience? Would you do it again? I'm curious.
Me with you?
No, with the gangbang. Or were you lying? Oh, you were lying. Okay, I see.
I was
how it
reading
is.
chat.
Never
Sorry, I'm
mind.
sorry. I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, okay.
I will say, this is the chat comment, and then I will say, over.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So, no, I ended it. I've ended all my for my very first one.
You've
Which
ended
makes me feel
all
like
your
I just get,
relationships?
yeah, I just,
Damn. Why?
I think I just get bored with people. They irritate me.
Huh.
I just get bored with people, and I don't even know. Just, that feeling when you get to know a person and it's all great, and then they just start just being clingy and sensitive, and I don't know. Oh, they get jealous, and then I don't even know. I feel like every person I've dated is fine, and then they just go crazy. Which, of course, could be me being a crazy person, but I don't think so, because I'm typically not the person throwing things in a rage in the middle of an argument.
Have you had multiple people throw things at you before?
Not at me, but like they just get emotional and just like cry and shit like that. Like, and I'll just sit there. The thing is, when I have disputes in a relationship, I conduct them like almost like I'm very businesslike. I've been called like cold when it comes to disputes. But to me, if you extract the emotion out of these discussions, you can kind of, in my opinion, solve them much more quickly and effectively without these hurt feelings. Like, okay, well, you think this and I think that. Is this a difference of opinion that we can actually resolve, or is this a thing that we cannot resolve, or is there some sort of compromise, or what are the ramifications of this? Instead of just crying and being emotional about it, blah, it just seems so stupid to me. And so I don't do that emotional thing. And apparently that makes people upset, because it shows that I don't care. And because I don't get jealous in relationships, apparently that shows that I don't care. I don't know. That makes me lose respect for people really quickly. So I think it's a mixture of like lose respect, and once I lose respect, I become resentful of the little things. And then I'm like, okay, it's over. And I also don't really have an issue with breaking. I've gotten so used to breaking up with people, I just don't really have an issue with it as much anymore. I always have an issue, but not as much.
Gotcha.
Which is unfortunate, because maybe I should stick it out a little longer, but I don't really think so. Like, here's how I visualize it. if I'm in a relationship and let's say I'm in the relationship and it's like in the shit fight or some sort of problem, or if someone cheats on me, for instance, let's say a guy cheated on me, there's this argument like, oh, I should maybe I'll forgive you and maybe we can work it out. Imagine if you could take that moment and just transpose it on the very first time you meet that person and you're contemplating even being engaged in them romantically. If you met them like, hi, nice to meet you. Oh, you're going to cheat on me and make me cry? Yeah, I'm just going to opt out of this because now I have the luxury of not being emotionally involved and feeling all these like having all this shit happen, which is clouding my rational view of this situation. Rationally, this is bullshit. And the only thing that's keeping me here is this emotional bond, which is in my opinion, is it's kind of like a manipulation of the situation instead of.
Have you ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Just curious.
I have.
Oh, interesting. Do you disagree with the core message of that movie?
I actually haven't watched it in a really long time, so I don't remember it.
Do you remember?
I watched it like
the
freshman year of college, and you know how old I am, so.
Sure. Basically, it was about the ending message was that you're familiar with the phrase, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Do I agree with that?
Well, you're familiar with it, right? That's what the movie was basically about, right? Is that they knew that their relationship was fucked, but they wanted to go back in it to experience the good times again or something.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a dumb message to you, or would you do it? Because you made it sound like if you could see that a relationship was going to end in a bad way, you would just want to avoid the relationship altogether, right?
No. That's actually a really interesting angle. Because to me, I've kind of come to the conclusion where I'm okay ending relationships. I don't know if this is a healthy or not, but the way I view it is a lot of people see relationships as like, you have to have this person forever. And if it's not forever, then it's a waste and it's emotionally horrible and so on and so forth. I see every event in my life, not only just romantic relationships, but friendships, not only just friendships, just any sort of, a thing that happens in my life that has any sort of influence in my life. I see them as chapters in a book. And like my whole life is a book. Some chapters are short, some are longer, some are really dramatic, some are mundane, but they're all chapters and they all kind of contribute to this this entire story. And so at the end of a chapter, if you're reading a book, you don't get to the end of a chapter and just want to kill yourself because you can't live without that chapter. You just think, okay, that chapter was really interesting, it was great, or it was horrible, whatever, but it contributes to the entire story. And so, yes, it's over, and I'm going to miss that chapter, but it doesn't mean that I have to kill myself. It just means that there's other chapters to have.
Do you ever feel like you're running out of time to find somebody?
I don't want to have kids ever, and so I don't have the... You're talking about romantically, I think. I don't have kids ever, so I don't really have the urge to have to lock down a man or anything. And I'm really glad I don't have that urge. And people keep telling me, it's going to hit you. You'll see. I'm like, I'm 32, and I really have no desire, so I don't really see that happening anytime soon. Gotcha. If it does, it's going to be the surprise of my life. And especially if it's strong enough to make me want to have to make a big lifestyle change. I highly, highly doubt. So I don't really have that rush, but... I don't know. I don't think I'm running out of time. I know I do have a certain number of years and where I physically, at my peak, because women don't get better with age typically. That's men, just, according to our society, blah, blah, blah. So I do have a certain limited amount of time if I want to be physically at my peak to go prowling for men, I suppose. I don't know. I didn't really feel the urge for that. I don't really have this urge to have any sort of relationship at this point. And I think it's because I'm just so consumed with myself. Probably selfishly, because I take my own interest above anybody else's. Anybody else. I favor myself over others. Mm-hmm. But I also, I'm also just too self-involved. I'm just have you see me, I can barely get to bed at a normal time. I'm a mess. I don't know where I would put a relationship in all of this. So maybe I'll regret it later in life. hot shit, but I don't really care that much right now. Like, I'm happy being who I am, and I'm happy talking to all sorts of people, not having any restrictions and any sort of interactions I have with people. I enjoy that, but I don't know.
Do you think if you had another relationship, have you ever considered an open relationship?
Have I considered it? And what kind of open relationship?
Like where both people could just fuck other people. Like, have you ever considered a relationship like that before?
Funny you should say that. Actually, the long relationship, that's kind of how it ended.
Did it end because you opened it up and then people got fucked on both ends? Or, like, not literally fucked, but because people's feelings got messed up? Or
it was actually it was kind of sadder than that. Less exciting and much sadder than that. It was more of, I was comfortable in the relationship in that, like, we had, like, built a life together. Like, his family loved me. We had all these plans, blah, blah, blah. He was the first guy I really had, like, an actual huge relationship with. Mm-hmm. And so he started, like, talking to this... okay, I'll back up. I really like it when if I'm dating a guy and other girls are looking at the guy and they think he's cute and, like, they flirt with him. I really love that. I love it because I'm like, yeah, because shows I have hot shit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like, oh... all these people desire this person, and this person is actually with me. Like, that's such a fucking ego boost. And so it started with me being like, oh yeah, flirt with girls. We'll go to this bar and you flirt with girls, and just it's fun for me to watch that. And then it moved on to he was going to school with, obviously classmates. He was getting closer to this one particular classmate, and I'm like, yeah, flirt with her. Just keep flirting with her. And so it moved on to one time they kissed. And he told me about it. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And at this point, I had lost any sort of sexual desire for him. I really had no sexual desire. I was just kind of just living with him, doing my thing, just in this very comfortable yet kind of sad situation where I have no sexual desire for the individual that I'm actually in a relationship with. And we're not even married or anything. Like, sure. Not that that's acceptable at that point, but, it just kind of underlines how sad it was. Mm-hmm. So then, fast forward, he kind of pushed it a little too far, where he, like, crossed the line to more things other than kissing. And then he told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'm hurt that you did something behind my back in a way, but
you didn't really give a fuck on, like, a mortal sin level, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't give a fuck, exactly. So I was like, you know what, just go for it. How about you have your thing on the side? This is my fucked up brain. How about you have your thing on the side? Because you'll get all that sexual energy out. She'll still take care of that, because I certainly don't want to. And then I'll just continue reaping the
benefits of being in a relationship without having to physically attend to you, right?
Yeah. I actually thought at the end of this relationship, that, like, I was just, like, asexual. I'm like, that's so weird. I thought I had sex drive, but it looks like it's been so long. I've never even thought about sex. Like, I actually bought books on, like, how to get your sex drive. I was like, help me. Like, what do I... Which is really bizarre, because right now I'm, like, the horniest I've ever been in my life. So it's it's a whole...
I can tell, because it seems like when we play PUBG, you're getting fucked all the time. I'm sorry. Keep going. Wait, can I get... So, wait. Okay, so I'm just going to venture a random guess here, and it might be totally wrong. Did this relationship end because you found somebody to fuck around with, or...
No, I actually never fucked around with anybody.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
I told you, like, at the end of the relationship, I went out and I was trying to research how to get my sex drive back, so I certainly wasn't with anybody. Like, I wasn't talking to anybody else. I was just, oh God, it was like this, I was like the astronaut's wife type, like, going to these, like, I was just, I don't know. I was like the book cover, and then you get home and that's the end of it. Just sleeping next to the person and just a good night and waking up and that was it. There was no other thing.
Wait, so why did the relationship end? Or go ahead.
It ended because at a certain point I was like, all right, this is just fucking ridiculous. Because not that there's anything wrong with an relationship, but the context in which this one was being conducted was not a positive one. It was one to try to cover up a bigger issue, which was me just being inherently unhappy. Mm-hmm. And not attracted whatsoever to the person that I was in a relationship with. So, I eventually just ended it. And we had other issues, but this kind of, like I said, pushed it to make it a little bit more evident that I'm like, okay, just fucking date that person. Don't date me. This is not working out. And so, yeah, I ended it.
Gotcha. Did he care that much or did he not care that much?
Oh, he cared. He cared. I mean, no, he definitely cared.
Did he get with the other girl? Did they start dating after or did that never work out?
Yeah, they're still together.
Okay.
Huh. That we broke up like years ago.
Sure.
I'm not crying, you idiots. Takes a lot more than that.
It's okay.
I'm talking about
emotional
a
about
relationship.
Our past. It's all right, dude. There's no shame.
No, it's okay to be emotional, but it's just like I'm not crying just because I walked away to get a water. Just chill, man.
Okay.
Not you, people in chat. Sorry, I was talking in chat. Slept on the couch for like 2 years. I'm talking to chat. That's insane, man. I'm sorry.
It's been what?
That's one guy in the chat says, my ex-wife and I didn't fuck for like 2 years before we split, and I slept on the couch for 2 years.
Oh, I could never do that in my own house. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, when like people, when women make the guy sleep on the couch, oh my god.
Nope. If someone wants
like,
to do that,
what
you can
level
go
of
sleep on the
immaturity
couch.
do you? What level of immaturity is that? Where I just can't sleep next to you because I just I'm so mad. Just oh my god.
Wait, can you really not understand that? Or do you understand it but you think it's dumb?
I think it's, I mean, I guess both.
Well, because the thing is, like, you don't want to be physically near somebody that you're, like, having severe, like, emotional problems dealing with, right? So you don't want to have to share a bed with them, would be the emotional side of it, right?
Right. I guess I just think that whole, I just feel like that reflex is immature.
Sure.
I can understand it. I can understand a lot of things, like a lot of emotional outbursts, but I think that expressing them are kind of a sign of lack of control and immaturity. Then again, I'm also terrible expressing emotions, so.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Am I in Seattle? Yes, I'm in Seattle, asshole. Look at my profile. This guy's asked me this question like 1 billion times.
Which
Just
question?
look down.
If you're in Seattle?
Are you in Seattle? Are you in Seattle? Are you in Seattle? Are you in Seattle? I walked away to get a glass of water. Come back. Are you in Seattle? Oh my fucking god. I want to ask you questions about your relationships, but I feel like I shouldn't.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't seem like you're I don't know.
It doesn't seem like you don't know?
It doesn't seem like it's something that you want to talk about on stream.
I've talked about all my shit on stream, dude. I'm a very, very open person.
I know, but we were touching on some stuff earlier, and you said like, you've already talked about that stuff, and then you kind of dismissed it after that.
Oh, I didn't mean to dismiss it. I was bringing it up to show that it was a conversation that I was willing to have. It was the opposite. Sorry if that didn't come across correctly.
It's okay.
My first real relationship was a girl that I ended up marrying, and it actually went down a pretty similar road.
Wow! Wait. When did you get married?
So I think Nebraska is the only state where the age of majority is 19. So we waited until we were 19 because it meant I would get a huge discount on my. Do you remember the FAFSA? Do you know what that means? The federal student aid. Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents moved away when I was 14 or 15, and I didn't get any financial support from them at all. So, like, I'm sorry, I'm just making clear, because some people are like, oh yeah, my parents were gone when I was 18, but they like paid for my car and my phone and everything. Like when my parents left when I was like, I think my mom left when I was 14, 15, my dad left when I was 15 or 16. I didn't get any money from them at all for any bills.
When
or
you say
anything.
they left, what does that mean?
My mom moved down to Florida when I was 14 or 15 to be with her mom.
Just left you?
Well, her mom had Alzheimer's, so she wanted to take care of her. So she left to go to Florida, and she took my sister because my sister was homeschooled. And then my dad went to join my mom when I was 15 or 16. So I spent like the last year or two of high school living. There was like a retirement home with my grandma. I lived with her there. That was a whole fucking crazy thing. But regardless of that, when I went to apply for the FAFSA, you know, fuck me, they always consider you a dependent. It doesn't matter if you've lived on your own. It doesn't matter how much your parents pay. It's just you're a dependent. And the only way to get across that is to either join the military, have a dependent or a child, right? To be declared a ward by the state. So you have to go in front of a judge and, you know, be declared an orphan or some shit. There was like one or two other ways, or to get married. And so yeah, I mean, I talked with my girlfriend, and we were both atheists. We didn't really give a fuck. Like, there's not like, it's not sacred or anything to us. So we were like, yeah, sure, fuck it, we'll get married. So we got married. But my relationship, all of my relationships actually like end the exact same way. And so with my wife, it got to the point to where this was because I was working full time and going to school at the same time, and it was a brutal job. I worked that casino job. I was a supervisor in a kitchen. And I was like really, really driven on everything from my job. I could do all parts, front of house, back of house, and I worked a lot, like 60 hours a week, and it was a night shift job. And so I like never saw my wife. That bothered her after a while, because I would come home, go to sleep, wake up, go to class, come home, take a nap, wake up, go to work, and then do that like 6-7 days a week. It was, yeah. And it got to the point where she just like was feeling like she was getting nothing or whatever. And I don't remember who floated the idea first, but I think she mentioned I'm somebody I never get jealous in relationships. I don't have that feeling. Yeah, I think it ties back to the ego thing. But yeah, I just don't ever get jealous if they want to fuck somebody else. I don't really care, because my thought is that if they're getting it better from somebody else, then they can just leave me. I don't think they are, but whatever. So she brought up that conversation of that she wanted to open the relationship up, and I was like, yeah, that's perfect. Like, because I'm working all the fucking time. I'm doing work in school. I don't have time to do this shit. So yeah, if that works, then go for it. And then she did that for a while, and I think she was unhappy with it because, I don't know, like when I think back, I think maybe she wanted me to have a bigger emotional response to that. And then, yeah, and then when I found a girl to start fucking around with, she got ballistic, and then the relationship kind of deteriorated from there because I didn't really have the time to give it. So I can empathize a lot with a lot of what you were talking about with the relationships.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And then that's how, that's like, I don't know if you've ever had this. This is why I said earlier, I'm not sure if you're trolling, because you're saying a lot of things that are like similar to me in a lot of eerie ways, because not very many people say these things. But like one of the things that, like one of the things that I get towards the end of some relationships is I always have this kind of hope that the other person is cheating on me, because then it means that I won't have to deal with them. Like they can go and like fuck somebody else and do that, and I could just focus on my shit. And that would be like the perfect relationship with me would be like if the other girl like had a guy on the side and she was like trying to hide it from me, and she would just go off and do that, and then I could focus on my shit. Like that's always been like but yeah, it never turns out that way. But
yeah, no, I'm not trolling you, I promise you. Are you trolling me and saying that you don't I don't even know anymore?
No, that's what I've talked about most of this stuff openly before. I mean, anybody in my show will confirm I'm not fucking around. I have but I only talk about this every now and then because obviously most people don't function this way, so it's kind of weird to bring it up. Like if I bring up something like I don't think I could ever be in a relationship where I'm jealous of the other person fucking somebody else. Like most people, that thought is like so insanely fucking unbelievable that it's not really one you can talk about, you know? Yeah, no.
I really do feel like the only thing I ever have jealousy about is like career things, like some like weirdly career shits, and not in like, oh, like if someone like that fucking person, you know, that type of thing. Hang on a second. Oh, I'm turning on my light. That's the only thing I ever really feel like anything about, but
oh sure, that's a different thing though than like relationship related.
Yeah, relationships,
that jealousy or like that possession of like the possessive feeling of another person. Yeah, I don't really understand. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I feel like I lack that, and I lack the ability to be offended. Like I used to be able to be offended, and I used to have some sort of jealousy romantically, and now so that means that I know I'm not lacking in. Because I had it at one point, but I just don't feel like I have it anymore. Like I just don't have it. And I also, I really, really hate guys that get clingy and jealous. And I hate when they get offended when I just don't care. if they're like, I think it's a fucking, like the thought of open relationship things, the thought of like even a guy I'm dating just flirting with other girls, like I said, like it's actually a turn on for me. It's not a thing that makes me feel emotionally upset. And every guy I've dated, the exception of the long-term guy, but actually he was very jealous. He was the type where if I actually acted out on that, he would have been like absurdly jealous. He would get, I remember one time I had like a lab partner in undergrad who I used to work really closely with, and he was getting all suspicious of him just because I was spending a lot of time with him. I'm like, he's a fucking lab partner, dude. Like, he's a good-looking guy. Who cares? Like, God forbid. So I know if I acted upon it, he would have gotten like really jealous. It seems like I really hate that reflex where you're trying to like bait some sort of emotional response because you don't have the confidence or the self-assurance to be able to say, no, I am attractive as a person. I don't have to like bait this person into being upset over the fact that I'm talking to another individual and they're like getting threatened. Like that's, to me, is just such a shitty, cheap shortcut to try to gain some sort of self-confidence instead of achieving it through your own means, like actually giving a shit about yourself.
Sure.
Anyways, it's way past your bedtime, isn't it?
I'm playing the Circle Dot game. I'm learning all sorts of cool stuff about you too, buddy.
Thanks, pal. How are you? Well, how many nodes are you using?
I do the 50, but I think my way of solving it is like really suboptimal, so I'm just kind of messing around with it. Why do you have bunnies?
I have one because an intern of mine was like, oh, I have this rabbit in my dorm room. And LOL, they just found out. LOL, give it away. I'm like, oh, just fucking give me the rabbit. So I took the rabbit. And then I was going to Greece for a little bit. And I felt bad leaving the rabbit alone. So I started looking into like, how could I... Like, I've always thought about getting my rabbit a buddy, a rabbit friend. And so I started researching it. It was kind of like the thing to push me to research it. It turns out rabbits are supposed to be kept with other rabbit friends. It's like incredibly cruel to not do that because they live in colonies typically. So to keep them in isolation, just one rabbit just sitting there, it's actually not a cool thing to do at all. And so I went to the shelter and I just remember seeing this rabbit. It was just like the ugliest thing ever. And so I'm like, what is that? They're like, oh no, they just dropped him off like yesterday. Of course, it was some bullshit like, oh, this dad got this rabbit for his son for Easter or something. And the LOL, guess what? It's actually an animal. And LOL, it actually lives more than a week.
Shit,
yeah. And so they dropped him off at the shelter because they no longer want that thing. And so I took him home and he's ridiculous. So now I'm 2 rabbits and they just won't die. So
what did you have an intern for?
And when I was working in the lab, I used to do research in developing a cure for HIV and herpes. So I had this one girl who's actually she's great. She's actually like became my really good friend, and she was my intern, so I taught her a bunch of shit.
Gotcha. Are HIV and herpes like so similar that would be something that you would research together?
It's weird for this particular approach. It is because
this is when you were talking about like using a virus to kill these viruses.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, exactly.
So these viruses like HIV and herpes, they'll embed themselves in your DNA, and so your DNA they'll basically make a little home in your DNA. So every time your DNA it replicates the virus as well. And so we were developing a lentivirus. Basically just a virus to go into your DNA, and what the virus's job was to do was to conduct a double-stranded break in your DNA, because your DNA is double strands. Double-stranded break, and which basically spurs mending. So your DNA is constantly healing, but a double-stranded break is quite prone to mutation. And so a lot of times when it heals with like maybe a mutation, like one base pair is fucked up or deleted or something. And so we were trying to engineer viruses to specifically do double-stranded breaks in the
part of the DNA that had the virus in it, so that mutation would fuck it up and it couldn't replicate.
Yes,
yeah,
precisely.
Okay,
and so so that's what you were doing exactly. And so so for HIV and herpes, those two are quite similar in our approaches for that. There was just a little bit of fiddling to do variations on them.
Gotcha. Huh.
Yeah. What are you doing right now?
Trying to do the dot game.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yep.
My alerts are fucked. I'm just rearranging my shit all day.
Okay, so what do you do during your day? So I gave you shit because you stream like 100 hours in a month.
Why are you looking at number? Wait, kid, how do you know how many hours I stream? Do you one of those like? I don't even know.
Here's a random personal question. Do you ever have like a compulsive need to spy on people? Or not like that, but like if somebody were to make access, or if you had access to like somebody's conversations, like personal conversations, would you like read all of them?
I haven't really never had that instinct.
Okay, never mind then. I
had that instinct like as a high schooler or something, but
Gotcha.
No, I don't anymore.
I
just don't care.
Look stuff up about people. I'm very compulsive about that to
See, I'm not at all.
uncomfortable extent. But anyway,
this
website. No, shut the fuck up. It's not that creepy. Okay, not that we're talking. Not this topic isn't that creepy. But this is a website that like tracks metrics or whatever. So it's easier to just look up your stream and see how long you've streamed for.
Did you DM me it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
If you go to games, you click last 30 days played. I can see you've only streamed 100 hours in a month. Barely. Those are amateur hours.
To be fair, some of those days I was banned.
Wasn't it like 2?
It was traumatic, right?
Okay,
so
my bad. Okay.
House Renders is a cleanup / safety protocol dealing with the life like that. The viruses that we used were I guess God, it's hard to explain. For some reason, I forget why. Because we weren't using like the full virus. Were we? I don't fucking know anymore. It wasn't that strenuous for some reason. Once you work in the lab for long enough, nothing's you're like, whatever. Like people just eating their sandwiches over AIDS. Like it doesn't matter. It's really not that great. But honestly, I forgot all the little nitty gritty things about it. One time I did stab my hand with malaria infected blood, like piece of broken glass. That was fucked up. Just as the blood was donated by this like scrub of a PhD. He's just like fucking gross. So I was like, oh great, I have every disease ever. And so I freaked the fuck out and got tested a billion times. Turns out it was fine, but that was scary.
Have you ever?
I was like, what was it?
Have you ever had an STD before?
Never.
Wow.
I'm like incredibly scared of getting them too.
Damn. Well, no raw. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
What was that?
No, I was gonna say no raw dog in it then. I'm just fucking.
Why? Do you have STDs?
Nope, never in my life. Or except for maybe, I guess, what is it? Guys can carry HPV and have no idea. So I guess maybe that one, but I've never.
Oh, okay. I gotta go back. I had HPV, but then it got rid. It like left. It just went away.
Oh, gotcha.
Because your body can get rid of it.
That's over like a 10 to 15 year period, isn't it? Like a long time it takes.
No, it didn't take it long at all. At all. Like I had it and then it was gone.
Nice.
So I've got a really great immune system, I guess.
Good job, dude. Wow. Must be that Greek shit.
Must be. Us the Greeks were just really good at processing the sexually transmitted shit.
Yeah, maybe. Or not HIV, HPV. Is that something that ever leaves, or does it just stay dormant and comes back every now and then, like herpes?
No, I think it leaves.
Gotcha.
They're like, oh, your body cleared the infection. Great.
That's good. That
shit can
now. Give you is it ovarian cancer?
Cervical maybe?
Oh, cervical cancer. Yeah, HPV can. I think they actually give girls injections now in like high school. You can just get an HPV injection, so you can't get it.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. It's a shitty STD because guys are totally asymptomatic, so you'll never know you'll have it if you're a guy. So if you're a girl, you can get it from a guy that thinks he doesn't have it.
Yeah. So wait, how did you know you had it? Wait.
Oh, I don't
you
know if
say you had
no, I said, I mean, I guess I could. I don't know. I would be lying if I said I was 100% positive. I guess I could also have HIV and I wouldn't know if I'm like asymptomatic, so who knows?
On this website, I have a rating for skill, humor, and interaction. I have a 4.8 for humor. How is that a thing?
They probably show up and they laugh at your fucking gameplay. That'd be my... No, I'm just kidding.
And then they decide, oh, that was laughable. Let me go on this website and rate it.
There's like, just people that go on the site can rate people.
Okay.
Why does it seem so hard to do now? Holy shit.
Fucking freezing.
Do you have control
It's
of
4.8 percentage? No. I think it's out of 5, man.
Is your roommate a guy or a girl?
This guy.
Do you guys fight over the thermostat a lot? Does he keep it really cold?
No, he doesn't give a shit.
No.
He's very easygoing. Digging for compliments, eh? What the fuck are you talking about, Bonzo? I see you. Hang on 1 second.
Kill him. Ban him. She's actually banning him. Holy shit.
Hey, are you watching my stream at all?
No, I had it on, but I'm focusing on my puzzle now. Why? What's up?
Oh, I was going to show you my rabbit.
I've
one of
already
my
seen
bunnies.
your rabbit.
We'll watch him again.
Okay, I see a rabbit. God damn, he's fucking so fat. Holy shit.
He's not fat.
He's insanely
He's
fucking fat.
He's 3 pounds, asshole.
Are they supposed to be that huge? He looks like the fucking... Like if the Hulk was a story about like an obese monster instead of a muscular one. And he was like rabbit colored instead of green. Do they sleep with you or...
He's not fat.
Do they sleep with you or do they like have a cage or what?
I can answer any more questions about it. No, fuck you, man.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be able to hop under the bed. He'd probably destroy that motherfucker. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. It's okay, Neville. I'm very sorry, Neville.
Fucking monster.
He is, but that's okay.
He's so small. His head is very large, I'll admit. I'm freezing, man. I need to go to bed. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah. Why not jack the heater up?
I just did, actually.
Oh,
That's why I got up to do the heater thing, and then I just grabbed the bunny. So I thought this would be a nice treat for my pal. Since we're all into pet names.
I call everybody buddy, I'm sorry. There you go. I got into a huge fight with one of my exes about that. Because I always called her buddy, and she thought that was really, really, really troublesome. She hated being called buddy. Right.
What was she? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was for her. Because I call everybody buddy.
Why do you do that? It's a tick.
Yeah, just, what's up, buddy? I don't know, it's just like a thing. I'm sure you have like a thing that you call everybody or something, no?
Yeah, I call everyone dude.
Yeah, well,
or bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking, what's wrong with me? Seriously. I should be the classy one here. You know, with my education and my elder years.
You're not that
But
much
I'm here
older than
saying-
me. Chill out, okay? Don't get too elitist there, buddy.
I thought Golden Girls, etc.
Yeah, you're right. Who are we fooling? Yeah, you're right.
Although I do look very young for my age, thank God.
Oh, wait, are you actually in your 40s, or...? I'm just kidding.
No, I look very young for my age.
I'm okay.
I'm not, guys. If everyone's trying to solicit questions, just talk. I'm not your conduit. All right. Thank you. For your age, she's probably 27. Dude, I'm 32.
Aw, look at that. You did it. You got him, dude. You showed him.
I sure did.
That guy was probably trying to knock you down a peg.
Mm-hmm. Be our voice. No, I'm not going to be your voice. Yeah, so what I do all day, after I stream, I'm always too like wired to do anything, and I'm always hungry because I'm horrible at eating, and so I try to like make food and eat, and then I'm just on my phone doing Discord and Twitter and whatever, and then pretty soon it's like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 in the morning because I'm incapable. I'm horrible at sleeping because I can't stop thinking, and I don't mean it to be like, oh, I have all these like genius
like a
ideas.
Modern day Socrates, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh god, the profoundness of my brain. No, it's more like just self-hate and just, you know, every little thing that wouldn't be that big of a deal with with distractions all around you, all of a sudden they're just amplified because it's like the blank canvas of just silence and dark, and they're just thinking, and then all of a sudden I'm just losing my shit, and then I can't sleep. So I have to just distract myself as much as I can until I'm practically like falling off of my chair. I'm like, okay, this is a fine time to sleep, and by then sometimes it's typically it's really, really late, and then I sleep in, and then I get harassed by you for, why aren't you awake?
I was just wondering. It seems like your fans want you to stream earlier. Damn, dude. Looking out for you, okay?
I probably should, actually.
Yeah. All those European fans you could be getting. You're depriving of your entertainment.
I mean, probably right, actually. I used to have a lot. Like, I used to stream for, like, all sorts of hours, so I definitely had a bigger spread internationally. The whole chat. Sounds like me right there. The whole self-hatred, thoughts racing, can't sleep thing. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
What's the number one thing you hate the most about yourself?
Procrastination.
Damn. Wait, is there like a big project that you think you should be working on that you postpone a lot? Or procrastinate a lot?
Just everything. Like, like putting my clothes away. Like, just stupid shit. Like, what the fuck is my problem? I'm smarter than this. I'm very disciplined in certain ways, but in some ways, it's just some things, and I just procrastinate the shit out of it, and I hate myself for it, and I don't know. I really do hate it.
Huh.
Hey, Let Fly. He went to SU. Mike says, have you thought about getting professional help? And like talking to a therapist? I went to a therapist once. It didn't go. I don't think it went so well because. Have you ever been to a therapist, by the way?
One time with my child's mom to try to work out our relationship problems, but that did not work. Why? How was your experience? I've never been to one for personally before, like for a person. I
went to one personally and one when I was younger for like a family thing. I went to one personally. It was like a couple of years ago, and I remember just sitting there. He was asking these questions, and I was just answering in a way where I was being honest, but I was kind of purposely kind of just trickling out information in a way that would kind of build. I was just trickling out information like, okay, I'm going to give him this, give him that, and just leading the questions through my answers because I knew he would ask me certain things. And then I just kind of timed it out because I knew the end of the session was coming soon. So I ended with a doozy, and then I'm like, but time's up. And then I just left and never came back again. I remember him being like, well, that's on this. That was the end of that. Don't think that was how it's supposed to go.
Damn. And that was only like one session?
That was one session. Have you gone to a psychiatrist for ADD? Yes, I have. I'm on Adderall. I'm on Adderall, man. please tell Destiny about the Hitler incidents when you first moved to Seattle. I want to know his take on it.
What is the Hitler incident?
When I first got to Seattle, when I moved here with that guy, like I was meeting friends, law school friends, blah, blah, blah. Because I moved out here slightly after he did. Like there was a little bit of a gap of time. So you already had some established friends. Went to this dinner party, and they were playing this game called Apples to Apples, which is kind of like Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
So someone puts down a card, and everyone has their cards, and like, oh, I wonder what card I can put down that would represent the card that the dealer put down. And so the dealer had to choose their favorite card, and whoever gets like the choice, you know, gets a point or whatever bullshit. And so someone put down a card that was something like friendship or happy or some sort of positive thing. Let's just say it was a friendship. And so I was looking through my cards, and I was like, okay, I have this option, this option. Oh, one of my cards says Hitler. And so I thought that would be a good card to put down, because I thought it'd be funny, because it's like, LOL, who would ever think that? Hitler's a horrible person.
To give love the
so I put that card down.
Have you demanded or been granted a bigger?
So
sponsor from Lawrence
when everyone's
Mobile,
cards are
since you play
assembled,
it all
the
the
dealer
time.
gets cards. All right, here we go. We're comparing this to friendship. First one is puppies. Aw, that's wonderful. Next one, birthdays. Oh, I can see how that works. That's a good one. Next one is Hitler. And I saw that person's face just drop, and everyone kind of was just like, what?
What was your relationship to these people?
These are friends through the guy I was dating, through law school and stuff, and they're like significant others. These are people that are generally people that are involved in law school or some sort of.
Were they like super straight-laced people, and they like offensive humor is like not?
Well, yeah, you'll see.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the dealer's face like dropped, and then one of the people was like at the table, looked around, was like, who put this card down? And I thought this was all kind of a thing, like, oh God, we're gonna be so offended. Like, I had no idea that this was actually a thing that could happen. And so I was like, yeah, of course, me. And he's like, really, you did that? I'm like, yeah, I totally did that. Like, and I was kind of bragging about it. And then I saw that no one was joking about it, and I was like, okay. It turns out, oh
no.
Later in the conversation, that was incredibly offensive, because how dare I put down when you know people here are Jewish, and that's very offensive to Jewish people. And so I remember on the way home, I was like, apparently I humiliated my boyfriend at the time with that whole me not being sensitive to Jewish people. And so he like constructed an apology email.
What? Okay.
This is like fucking
Why would they
Seattle.
play a game where there's a Nazi card in the deck if they
Because people are good, and they would never dare to do that. I just happen to be just so savagely horrible that I just had the audacity to use the Hitler card. You know what? The Hitler card's only for when you say the worst person in the world, and then you can put the Hitler card down. And even then, it's a little touchy, because it's like you're bringing up memories for the Jews.
Jesus
but, you know.
Christ. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Nice. Just spat my soda. Yeah, that's bullshit, right, guys? Just FYI, your ability to read that room after that fuck up easily precludes you from being on the spectrum. Hey, just FYI, I just told you how I didn't read the room, and then it took the guy to actually explicitly tell me that people are offended. I think so.
It's okay. It's not an autism contest, dude.
Seriously. I'm just like, I'm almost like bothered that people are trying to like poke holes in my whole like me feeling
but
like
you don't know if you have autism. Be careful, because you only took an online thing. That doesn't necessarily mean you're autistic.
I know.
Right?
You don't think I know that?
I don't know. Damn. Just be careful.
You haven't been to my. People have been like outrageously. Oh my gosh. You don't know. Maybe I do have it. Then you're just a dude that's trying to deny me of
your
of
autistic
something.
privilege. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I do have privilege. I'm sleepy.
Good. Go to bed.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the conversations, buddy.
Thanks for talking to me. I had fun.
Yeah,
It was actually really enjoyable.
Stay frosty, dude. Okay, sleep well.
Oh god, just before I go. Are you there?
Yeah.
So we were talking about flat earth shit yesterday. And
Wait.
we were watching
You don't actually. Or I'm sorry.
What
No.
do you fucking think? Of everything you know about me, what do you fucking think?
I think you
How do
think
you
the
think
Earth is actually not flat.
It's actually not flat? How dare you?
Wait,
Like
you think?
say that- Yes, I don't think it's flat. I think.
Wait, no, wait.
fucking-
We can argue about this. I think the Earth is flat. Why would you say the Earth is round?
Because every bit of evidence we have indicates it is indeed round.
So, have you ever been mountain climbing before? I actually went to Seattle, and this is when I first started to actually critically think about this. So I went on, do you know Mount Rainier is what you call it? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah. I went
yeah.
hiking on that with an ex. And when I was at the top of it, that was like the first time that I actually like looked out and I really thought about it. And then I started doing a ton of reading afterwards. And now I'm not sure. Like there is no point where you can stand anywhere like and see like an actual curve of the earth. And you would think that standing at like a mountain that tall, you would be able to perceive something like that. No? Why are you like so convinced that the earth is round? Like if somebody would have put a gun to your head and said like, what's your absolute proof for the earth being round? Like what could you even say?
If you watch a ship sail, you'll watch it dip down because the earth is curved. You'll see it start dipping down. Like you'll see like.
Sure. So have you
You'll
ever
see
like
explain a fucking sunset, asshole. Explain any photo of the earth ever taken. Explain taking a weather balloon and lifting it and having it just see the fucking curvature and everything.
Yeah, so like
explain,
have you ever
explain satellites.
have
Go
you
ahead.
ever
Explain all of that shit.
Yeah, I mean I think it's okay, so like I'm not okay,
So you everything all the shit I said is like just scratching the surface. But
so
then
calm down. Whoa. We can do it one at a time.
mountain.
No, we can do it one at a time. So like, have you
I
ever
don't
like?
wanna engage in this
no,
right now.
it's just a quick hypothetical. I'm just curious. Have you ever like held your hair out or whatever? And you know how like if you were to hold out like a single strand of hair or a pencil and you were to hold it up, right? Even though the sun is shining down, you still see light on the ground. It's not like just holding up one pencil gets rid of all the light, right?
Right.
Because light bends, we know that, right? So like if a ship is going over the horizon, it's just because the top of the ship where you see that light falls off after the light on the bottom, right? Because the light on the top has less of a way to fall off. Like if you were shooting a gun or throwing a ball, if you were to throw it from a higher angle, the ball would go farther than if you were to throw it from like laying on the ground, right? The light at the top will make it farther than the light at the bottom. Like you can observe this if you go outside and you actually like hold out like a pencil or some shit. Like light will bend around things. So I don't think the sun or the ship thing. I don't think those are good examples.
Okay.
So what else would you point to?
Was this a quick hypothetical, or were you
Well, no,
actually engaged in the
I'm actually
discussion?
curious. No, because this is something that I actually feel I didn't think much about this before, but now I feel kind of. I think it's interesting how much people will just like accept that the Earth is round without ever really thinking about it. Like it's one of those core beliefs that we've never really
Because you
analyzed
can
before.
see the roundness.
Yeah, but
That's a really strong piece of evidence. that
And
you think it's
empirically
round.
we can show that light does bend. That's why rainbows appear, right? The refraction of light and whatnot. Like light does things. It doesn't just shoot in a straight line and never move, right? We know that light bends. If we accept that, then like all of the other things are explained pretty easily by that. And then there's not any weird explanation of like why can't you see the Earth never curving even though it's supposedly curved, you know? So like what would be like a better example? Like if you were really trying to sell somebody on like the Earth is round.
I can't with this right now. This is like this is even like I don't
Okay,
have
I'm
the
sorry.
will
I'm just fucking with you.
I don't have the will to
Okay.
try to explain to you.
Okay, I'm just fucking with you. Okay, keep
Why-
going. What were you
why,
gonna?
like-
I'm sorry. Before we got sidetracked, what were you going to talk about? I'm sorry. You were gonna tell a story or something, and my bad. What were you saying before you went to bed? Do you remember what you were talking about?
Weirdly enough, you've tainted my whole everything right now, and I can't remember.
Okay, well, think about it.
Why would you want to cap this conversation with some sort of like
I love
obnoxious display of whatever the fuck that was?
I just like flat Earth theory. It's really funny to me. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, so this is what I was gonna fucking say.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Wait, he was trolling. Of course he was trolling. Because LOL, it's all memes and shit, whatever the fuck.
I'm sorry, I didn't think most of our conversation was memes. Go ahead. I just had to interject a little bit of memes. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate most of our conversation.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way.
Okay. So
yes, thank you, Peller Man. Appreciate it. Okay. Destiny is 3-0 versus BadBunny now. Oh shit! God, you got 3 points for that shit, and I have nothing.
Damn.
It fucking sucks for me, man. I suck.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
Yesterday we were talking about flat Earth shit. This is like the third stream that we've done on flat Earth shit. I just can't get enough of it, really.
Oh, do you talk about it a lot on stream?
Yeah, we talk about a lot of these things on stream.
Oh shit.
And we'll do streams where it's not just trying to debunk things.
Mm-hmm.
It's typically us trying to just like explain why this would happen, and then we just go into a whole big science dive, and all of a sudden we do explain it, and then it turns into other shit.
That's one of the things that I have difficulty with. It's actually like it's really difficult to combat like a high level conspiracy theorist. It is. Like, because the problem is that like in order to debunk like a really high level conspiracy theorist, somebody that's really deep in, you need like really fucking high level knowledge on shit, you know? Like, for instance, like in that debate, like this is actually something that I really have wanted to do with like viewers for a long time, because people don't believe me, but like arguing against flat Earth, if the other person knows like basic physics, is really hard. Because when I bring up like the light bending shit and explain like the ship and how your hair, like you can still see light on the ground, like you have to have like a decent level of physics knowledge to explain, you know, like, well, why can you see light? Why isn't the shadow completely black? Like, you know, like, how exactly? I think you do.
It's easy to debunk it.
How? Well, like, how would you debunk that? How would you say that, like, so why doesn't light fall off then? Why isn't light affected by gravity?
Because you're looking at it too. And by the way, high level, low levels, and basic building blocks of things, like the nitty gritty and high level.
I'm sorry. When I say high level, I don't mean like a general abstract. I mean like high level, like you have to have a good understanding.
I know what you meant. I'm just trying to. The only reason what I was gonna say.
So like how? So like, do you think like the average person? You're doing, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
What you're doing is you're approaching it. You're falling for their shit.
Yeah.
When they say things like, this is what I see all the fucking time when people having like a dispute with the person or like in chat or whatever. I'll present someone will say a thing. A lot of people think I roast. They're like, oh, you always roast people. Oh, you're so good. I'm like, it's really not it's not very difficult. You just take a thing that someone said, and then you just ask them to explain it. And then just watch as they try to say everything else there is to try to distract you from that. When you just have to be like, all right, I see everything you're doing, fine, whatever. But would you care to just answer the simple question I just asked you? Like one fucking question.
Yeah, but like we could do it with flat Earth and it would be really hard. Like I could sufficiently...
Okay, shut the fuck up.
What?
All right, so just listen.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I'm fucking trying to draw a parallel here.
Okay,
so,
my bad. Go ahead.
So that similar thing where somebody's like trying to distract you with whatever else. That's what happened with flat Earth. Flat Earth shit is it's not trying to actually seek the truth in anything. What they're trying to do is take all the overwhelming evidence and they're trying to poke all these little holes in it, but they're actually not addressing the entire idea. They're just trying to, this is not what science does. Science doesn't try to find a weird moment and be like, well, that means that everything is wrong. No, you actually try to objectively seek the truth. You don't have a fucking agenda. And flat Earth is all about pushing an agenda and trying to find a little nitty gritty like that maybe will coincide with it. And so the crux of flat Earth, which is, this is the basic, apart from all the bullshit they ever say, all the little stupid theories that they try to like, oh, this is why it does, because like you were saying, like some weird bendy thing. ultimately, we have the most evidence as people that know the Earth is round. Their evidence is actually physically seeing the fucking Earth. And the whole reason that flat earthers say that you can't, that actually is not true, is because they say, well, have you seen it? No, you haven't seen it. Other people have seen it, and they have photos of it, but can you trust photos? And so the whole crux of the entire argument is based on this insanely paranoid view that you can't trust anything in this world. So that, to me, once you acknowledge how insane that is, it's like, how am I even going to trust anything you're saying? Like, everything that they're saying is based on their fucking view of things. So they're basically completely contradicting themselves, and you can realize how insane they are. So you just have to just fucking debunk that shit. Makes any sense?
Yeah. No, actually, I think that's a good way to attack it. You don't ever focus on the science, and you focus on the overall conspiracy, right? Because if you can get somebody to admit that, like, every single government has gotten together to lie about what's in, like, the outer space textbooks,
exactly,
that's like insane.
Every person has a shitty weather balloon with a GoPro as now part of this conspiracy with a zero. There's no profit behind pushing this round Earth agenda. It's like the dumbest conspiracy ever. There's tons of evidence to disprove it. The whole basis of like how they make their arguments is completely nonsensical, and that you can't trust things unless you see them. Even though you'll see, like, I remember in this one flat Earth thread on Twitter, this one astronaut was like, actually, I've seen it. And you'll see that the flat Earth people don't even respond to him.
Yeah, or they think that he's a paid government show. Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone else is like, well, we have photos. Like, did you take the photos? They're like, no, I didn't. So a guy's like, yeah, I did. And they just don't even talk to him.
Sure.
So, like, the whole crux of it is ridiculous. Like, but no one's profiting off of this. And also, conspiracy theories, when conspiracy involves, like, more than two people, it's even two people, like something's happened, like someone,
and you're talking about a government that has trouble doing like so many basic things. The idea that so many thousands or tens of thousands of people have gotten together to harbor this mass conspiracy, and it's never been like
where no one has any sort of like no one is profiting off of it. There's no like, all right, well, if you
just to fuck with people.
Yeah, just to fuck with people. Like, what's the incentive? Not one crazy dude has decided to be like, I'm going to be the rebel and actually expose the truth. And also, this is just a side thing, which has nothing to do with the actual underlying logic. But if you ask the flat earthers to what's like past the edge of the flat earth thing, they'll say things like, we are not concerned with the edge because beyond the earth is not our concern. We're just concerned with the flatness of the earth. Or they'll say things like, why is there an edge? Why would you assume there's an edge to the flat earth? Like, they have no fucking idea how I even had this whole rant yesterday about plates. I'm like, how did they do not have a plate? They never have a, like, fucking, never mind, I'm done. I can't with this. I'm going to go on a whole rant again about food falling off a plate and all this shit.
Sure.
No, it doesn't work. Anyways. When you reach the edge, you spawn back to the other side.
God, that would explain how travel works. That'd be crazy as fuck.
That's true. Oh, but also according to flat Earth theory, Mars is indeed round.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, you have to be careful because there's like a ton of different flat earthers, and not everybody's a flat earther too. Some people believe in a
the hollow one?
Yeah, the hollow earth theory that we're actually inside of a rounded ball. So that's why you can travel from one end to the other. That's why the sky is blue, because you're actually looking into the water or some I don't know. Yeah. There's some guy called Steve Flat Earth or something on YouTube that's got like hour-long videos. They have like these whole other scientific terms and shit. It's crazy how deep into it goes. I started to like flat earth shit because I listened to a guy in my Discord once arguing with my chatters, and I was like, okay, well, it's like one guy versus like 30. You know, this is going to be like really funny. This guy's going to get destroyed. But like nobody in my Discord could mount an effective argument against flat earth. And I realized that the reason why it was so hard is because they were getting bogged down in the science and nobody really could give a good answer. Like for instance, this guy, I don't know if flat earthers all the time do this, but this guy kept going back to buoyancy. And everybody would say like,
you're like talking, you're like falling for his,
like everybody in chat was like, okay, well, explain how gravity works. Well, there's no such thing as gravity. It's just buoyancy. Like the air is pushing down on you and that's why you're, attached to the earth. It's just buoyant forces. And then it's like nobody really understood like how buoyancy works.
You can't argue with that because it's just so far-fetched that like it's like saying like 1 + 1 is 2. It's like 1 + 1 is colors. You're like, all right, sure, man. Like, what are you supposed to say to that shit?
Yeah.
Like, there's some basics you just can't. You just can't. There's
Sure.
nothing you can say.
Well, it's the reason why I expand this to a greater thing, why I say like I won't platform conspiracy theorists, is because some conspiracy theorists have very damaging theories, and if you don't have like a huge background in the area, you can get like really lost in it. So like, for instance, because I do a lot of political stuff now on YouTube or my Twitch stream, like I can't really responsibly have a discussion with like a Holocaust denier or like a race realist, because they'll engage in like levels of like conspiracy where I'm not really equipped to address it at all, so their arguments come off sounding like really legitimate, you know? Like do you like, could you really have like a good conversation with a Holocaust denier if they were to start bringing up like specific sources and shit? Like I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't have the like, you need like a deep history background to do it, and these people will be like familiar with primary sources. So like if you say like, well, actually this was recorded,
they obsess over it.
Yeah. But like, even if you give an example, like, well, no, I know that you know, at least Auschwitz, I know this happened, and they'll be like, well, no, actually, if you look into the back life of this person, he was known to lie about his stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I don't know anything about that. Like, fuck, like, and you have to concede every argument because they're so deep into it, you know? Or like 9/11 conspiracies. Right, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No. Please go ahead. I was just agreeing like an asshole.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It's really difficult. Like skirting that line. Just in my position, I have to be careful about who I platform for those reasons, because then I end up just giving a platform for somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say, you just give them a fucking platform, and then you look like a person who argue with that. Which most people, they just will be like, oh yeah, he lost. You got him. Like,
yeah. Well, and then some people will start to look into it more, and then we'll inevitably get lost because people are fucking retarded, right?
I always think that like this can sound really harsh to a lot of people. It's not meant to be rude or anything. I fall into this category too. I think all consumers can, or at least the way you see them. I always try to view everyone as like viewers, and how I interact with people. Everyone is stupid and lazy, and I always default to those things in the kindest way. It's not meant to be derogatory. It's just like the inclination of humanity. We want to go for things that are. We don't want to. If you can take a route that is.
I think the really nice like psych way that I try to explain this now is that
maybe give me a way that I can say it that's not so harsh.
So humans are prone to a whole host of cognitive biases that they're not aware of. They were biases that were like necessary for our survival in the wilderness, but now all they do is fuck with us in like really bad ways. And if you're not aware of that, it will like destroy you. So like, for instance, like when like...
do you talk about evolutionary psychology?
Yeah, sure. Oh God. Yeah. There's a guy that do you know who JF is? Just curious? No. Never mind. Okay. He's a big dude around, or kind of, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I've engaged with it before. Yeah. What about it?
No, I talk about it almost every fucking day. I'm always talking about that shit. When people are saying, like, children are never racist. This racism, we teach them this hate. They come out pure. I'm like, really? Because evolutionarily, we're predisposed to want to prefer our own people that look like us. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
shun others that don't look like us. Like, there's a predisposition to that evolutionarily.
Yeah, but you have to be careful because, like, predispositions only go so far. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to be kind of careful with some of that, right? So like, for instance, like we are probably naturally somewhat tribalistic, but like incredibly racist. I don't know like how hateful you can be.
I'm not saying it's okay to be racist. This is me trying to say that it's so like today it's like taboo to ever say I feel weird about a thing or I feel weird about a person. Like with all these. For the longest time, people have been like a certain thing for most people. And now with the internet and how connected we are, we're learning all sorts of things about different cultures, like different sexualities, so many different things that we've never been exposed to before. And we, as a species, have not been exposed to these things, or at least haven't globally been exposed to them to the magnitude we have been to be able to catch up with that type of thing.
Yeah, I think you just have to be.
It's a lot of shit happening at once, and so when people have it really bums me out when if I see a person that says, "Hey, I feel weird about like this trans person, like I feel weird about it," and then you see everyone just going, "You idiot! You're an asshole! I want to make sure you lose your job," and like everyone just hates them. It's like this lynch mob mentality because you're not allowed to even just have a moment of feeling weird anymore. And I just want to say, like, all right, when people have this inclination to feel weird about a thing, it doesn't mean that you're inherently an evil person. There's actually probably reasons why we feel weird about these things that are not attached to us being horrible people. It's just probably a natural feeling of like, okay, that's different from me, and I'm different things kind of scare me. And so that's okay. And we can have that discussion, because if you don't have that discussion and you just ostracize them for having this weird thought, what you're going to do is you're going to make that person turn into somebody who hates those types of people. And they're just it's going to further entrench this whole war we have against, people who think a thing, people who don't think a thing.
Sure. I don't disagree with any of that. I think the one thing that you have to be careful of, or that people have to be careful of, is that it's really hard sometimes to pick out what people actually mean when they say certain things. So for instance, if somebody knows me really well, if I were to say something like that trans person is kind of weird, I think that people would interpret that statement pretty generously. Like, okay, well, when he says weird, he just means like maybe strange or something. Whereas a lot of the times when people use weird, it carries with it like a moral judgment. So for instance,
but it doesn't have to, though.
It doesn't have to, but like if you talk to me, let's say that you told me that that you'd fucked 30 guys, right? Like I might look at you like, oh wow, damn, that's some crazy shit, right? And I might just say that, right? But if you were to talk to like a 40 or 50-year-old man from like the South or something, and you were to tell him that you fucked 30 or 40 guys, and he said the same thing, he's like, wow, well, that's some crazy shit, right? His words would be the same, but they would carry a lot more judgment with them than mine would. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. So I think like that's just the thing that you have to be careful of. I don't think that it's good to like demonize the fuck out of people for their opinions, which is something especially lefties like to do, although righties are starting to do it more and more, which is a problem. But yeah, I think it's more just like, it's not so much of like saying that like a trans person can be weird isn't necessarily bad. It's just that weird never just means weird. Oftentimes it carries these moral judgments with it, these like undertones that people pretend don't exist that probably do.
Yeah, but you have to wonder why those moral judgments even exist at all.
Well, because they don't like trans people, oftentimes.
By the way, when I say like that, I didn't mean that trans person is weird. I meant like trans people as an
general.
idea.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That just doesn't make. I don't know. I don't know if that distinction is important or not. But you have to think about if somebody is saying, if somebody like you said, if they have like some sort of moral distaste for that type of thing. Why would they even have that inclination? That's also something human that we've evolved to have. Well, why do we have that inclination?
Yeah, so
that's not everything that humans have. Everything we have has been created by us. Right?
Yeah, but like you have to be really careful. So like okay, so this is an important distinction to make. Do you engage with like philosophy a lot? Do you do these kinds of like philosophical meanderings, or is it mainly more
I think about things a lot, but I don't do reading. I don't like read. Sure. I think that you probably do a lot of reading on philosophy.
I wish I would. I'm too lazy. But like, so this is like
talk a lot, and then I think about. I'm very choosy with what I think, and maybe I could be more choosy, but
sure. So this is the problem with things like evolutionary biology. And I say the problem, right, is you have to be really careful not to take scientific ises and then extrapolate them into philosophical oughts, right? So for instance, scientifically speaking, women are weaker than men. You typically have smaller skeletal
less
systems,
muscle mass, blah, blah,
less
blah,
muscle mass. Your muscles are distributed differently, and you tend to carry more fat, especially in the chest and mid waist. So these are like scientific facts, right? But you have to be careful because we don't want to extrapolate like a philosophical ought from that. So like we can say scientifically women are weaker than men, but then what some people do is they will extrapolate a philosophical ought, and they'll say, well, since women are weaker than men, they ought not do all of these things that should only be for men. Women ought not play sports. They ought not be involved in military, law enforcement, et cetera, because of this biological fact. And I think you have to be really careful not to get lost in the pit of like, we can explain why a behavior exists, but that doesn't necessarily make that behavior right or wrong in like a moral sense, right?
Yeah, you can explain it, but you're not excusing it.
Sure. Well, you have to be really careful because some people will do that, right? So like, for instance, like, I accept that people are tribalistic by nature. I'm pretty sure that's like a fact. I think that most people accept that to be true, that people tend towards people that look like themselves. You can understand that, but that's not an excuse to be racist, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. I think that, yeah, I agree.
That's what I have to be. So like the evolutionary biologist that I'm familiar with is called JF Gappy or some shit, who's like a big dude on YouTube. But his entire philosophical system is an extrapolation of his evolutionary biology, which gets pretty weird. So like he tries to optimize basically for baby making and whatnot, or that's like the entire paradigm through which he views the world, right? Because evolution is mainly concerned with making children.
Right.
Yeah.
Making children that can make children.
Yeah. Oof.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The reason why this originally came up, with the cognitive biases or whatever, I think that one of the early advantages that humans had was our ability to recognize patterns. That's something that humans do exceedingly well. You see something, you understand the pattern, and then you can apply it to another thing. That's like a thing that we do very, very well, right, is recognizing patterns. That's something that works like really well for survival, but when it comes to like interpretation of data or something, it's really, really, really shitty. That's what I talk about when I talk about like cognitive biases that people aren't aware of. So for instance, if you have a bad experience, if you're in the wilderness and you eat a certain plant and it makes you sick, you'll probably never eat that plant again, right? Well, if you're like in society and you have a bad experience with a black person, you'll never want to interact with a black person again, right? That these kinds of like cognitive biases, as pattern recognition, is like really damaging to humans as they exist today in society, even if they were really good at one point in time. That's why I try to phrase it as like people have like really bad cognitive biases that they have to be aware of, rather than people are stupid and lazy, I think. Yeah, casinos exist. The entire gambling industry is built around the idea that people are not capable of rationally evaluating outcomes. You have a tendency to remember the good over the bad. There are things like gambler's fallacy, where if you've lost 10 times in a row, you think statistically you've got a higher chance of winning on the next roll, even though that's not true. They're all independent events. There's like, the entire world of gambling, is an example of building an industry around cognitive bias.
I was just talking, I think it was yesterday, about the romanticization of the past. Maybe it was earlier today. Maybe it was yesterday. But that reminded me of it when you're talking about when you just remember the good things.
Sure.
Because I do it too. When I'm like, back in the day, things were simple. I'm always doing that shit. I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do it like in small ways, just like thinking about just last month or just like the past relationship. And then I'm like, back in the 1800s. But of course, things are always so much simpler and so much better.
Sure. Oh, there's a paradox that I bet you know it, to do with statistics. You've heard the one where it's like there's a test and it's got a 99% positive rate, and there's a disease that occurs on like 0.1% of the population. If you test 1 million people and 5,000 people turn out positive, or return a positive to the test, how many of these people are likely to have the disease? Have you heard of this before?
Are you just talking about the difference between specificity and sensitivity of a test?
No, fuck. There's like a specific name to this. Is this Bayes' theorem? I don't think it is.
Bayes' theorem just deals with a...
I don't think it's...
Okay, I really need to know now.
So basically,
if we don't figure,
okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Will you send it to me later?
It might be called Simpson's paradox. So the idea is that you've got a test. Okay, this test is 99% accurate. And you're testing for a disease that occurs in like 1% of the population. If you test 1 million people and this test is 99% accurate and like 1,000 people come back as positive, how many of those people would you expect? Like what percentage would have the disease? And like naturally you would imagine like, okay, well the test is 99% positive. I guess like out of 1,000 people, like 800 or 900 would have the disease, but the number is actually incredibly low. It's like double digits or something, because the disease itself is very rare. So even though the test has a very high, false positive or low false positive, right? It's 99% effective. That 1% is going to cover so much of the population, and the disease is so rare that number is actually going to be the number of false positives is going to be way higher than you would imagine. Sorry, right? Fuck. It might have to do with Bayes' theorem. I'm sorry, but I think that Simpson's paradox is the explanation of this.
Yeah, someone here, Miller Time, says I'm a statistics PhD student and somewhat Bayes' theorem / Simpson's paradox. I also have to. Maybe this just is me sleepy, but I doubt it. I think that I would need to know more than 99% accurate, because accurate in that 99%.
Well, it's like a binary thing. 99% yes or no. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be treated like a binary. Like it is a 99% chance of saying you do or don't have the disease. It's just a binary thing.
No, but 99% chance you do or don't have the disease amongst those who have the disease or amongst those who don't. Like 99% of
it would
those
be amongst
who have the
those
disease.
that... don't have the
okay,
disease.
so
That don't have the disease. Yeah. So like if you tested 1,000 people and 10 had the disease, that 99% would apply to every single person, not just the 10, but all, right?
Okay.
Sorry. There's a video on this. You can watch it at some point.
Okay, send it to me, please.
Okay.
You can find it for me. Fetch it.
I'm pretty, or I'll show you. I think if you just Google like Simpsons paradox video, here's one. There's like a ton of videos. It's just
so easy to
interesting-
Google.
Yeah.
Okay, just fucking do it. Fine.
It's just It's just a nice meme. Okay. Or I sent it to you on Discord. Wait, are you watching this now? Don't you have to sleep?
No, I'm not watching it now. I'm just finding it for later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Gonna send to myself. Yeah, I need to sleep. It's like almost 2 a.m. I'm missing my wind down and panic about life moments before I finally fall asleep in my chair.
Okay.
And you need to sleep too. You're 2 hours ahead. You're crazy.
It might not be Simpsons paradox, guys. I'm so sorry. Fuck. I feel like I butchered this explanation. Simpsons paradox would have to be the university meme where it seemed like women were underrepresented, but it turned out that when you looked at it, they were actually overrepresented in every area. Oh, that's another thing. I could explain this, but I have to like sit down and think about it. Fuck, never mind. Like how like if you say like 45% of men in this thing, and then there's like 45% of men in this thing, but like when you take all the numbers together, the actual percentage of men can be like 70%. Did that explanation make any sense at all?
I don't even know anymore.
Okay, never mind. Forget it. Never mind. Yeah, okay.
I feel like I just got really stupid.
Okay. Well, you know.
Like just because I'm just feeling sleepy.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, listen. Thanks for the conversation, my dude.
No problem, bruh.
Have fun. Sleep
Thanks
tight.
for talking to me.
Yep. Good night, buddy.
Have a good night.